if we are getting analysis, especially from these former players, are we getting analysis based on their time studying the game and watching the game? Or should we throw a lot of these guys into the entertainment bucket because they are not giving us, they're not giving us the detailed analysis or breakdowns that we believe we're getting. Let me grab something to drink. Excuse me, sorry about that. All right, so let's get it. Hold'em fours up. Let me get that in the screen. Hold'em fours up. Fourth quarter. We got the fourth quarter here. So you see, we got Shaq, we got Charles Barkley, we got them at the center of the screen. We're going to start off with this clip. This recently happened. This has been going semi-viral, but this is a perfect example of what I mean when I say entertainment or analysis. After this clip right here we're going to watch, you're going to see that we're going to have to throw some people directly into the bucket of entertainment, even though they might have a gold jacket. They might be Hall of Fame. They might have, they might be top 20 players, top 50 player all time in their respective field. If they're not putting in the work, if they're not watching the games, if they're not studying the tape, they're entertainment. Because a lot of times you'll hear they are blowing air. Let's get it.
That can consistently play at their own pace and put up numbers. It's a great player. I like the way he's playing. I like what Chauncey is doing. Those guys play hard. My favorite player on that team is Isaiah Stewart. Big body, hard guy. Like to knock people out, push people
No, I can't
around.
let this go. Like who's doing it? You said Chauncey?
Chauncey's the coach, right?
Okay.
Portland. No. Chauncey, he coaches.
I was like, I can't let this go.
JB Bickerstaff.
Yeah, Bickerstaff. That's what I mean. Hey, first of all, I don't watch Detroit. How about that, boo-boo?
What kind of idiots do you have working here?
That can
All right, so y'all see that. So we got Shaq. We got Shaq here. This is recent. Shout out to Candace Parker. Candace Parker was not letting that slide. She even, went back to it like, who you liking what they're doing? And he doubled down on it. So JB Bickerstaff has been the Pistons coach 2 years now. And he said his favorite player on the Pistons was Isaiah Stewart because he's pushing people around. Isaiah Stewart is a role player. Isaiah Stewart is not the star player. He's not a star player on that team. Cade Cunningham, a young player in this league, early round draft, I think he was drafted number 2, I want to say, if I'm not wrong. I think Paolo Banchero was 1. He was number 2 in that draft that, he was drafted to the Pistons. He's averaging 21 plus. And you telling me your favorite player is Isaiah Stewart. And then you're telling me that Chauncey Billups is doing a great job. Chauncey Billups has been coaching in Portland for 2 years. And then once you get called on it, which shout out again to Candace Parker for calling him on it, he says, I don't watch the Pistons. All right, so to me, that is just straight up, that's entertainment. He doesn't even watch the team. He even admitted to not watching the team. He doesn't know the team's best player. He doesn't know who the coach is. He's off on coaches. Chauncey he was never the head coach of the Pistons. He played for the Pistons. He was never the head coach of the Pistons. Chauncey Billups' first head coaching job that he got was in Portland. He was, his first head coaching job he got was in Portland. So, Shaq, what are we doing, man? We just looking at this and, Shaq is one of those people. Shaq is pretty sensitive when it comes to how people critique things that he says. And he does the automatic Hall of Famer, how many rings do you have, as his trump card in every argument. The problem with that is when you say things that are just 100% wrong, your accolades, they're not showing through. You actually diminish your accolades when you don't know who the coach is, and then you admit to not watching the team, and then you try to speak on who the best player is and who you like the most. The problem is you are diminishing your accolades every time you do that. It's okay. I don't mind if you don't watch the Pistons. I don't watch the Pistons either. I don't watch every game. I'm a Cavs fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So, I follow the Cavs. I can tell you all the guys on the Cavs. I can tell you how they're doing. Currently, as I'm recording this, we're on a 16-game win streak. So I can tell you how we're doing. We just beat Memphis yesterday. I can tell you how my team is doing. Team and I watch, so I can definitely tell you that. I'm intrigued by the JJ Redick Lakers with Luka and LeBron. We know LeBron is out. We know Luka dropped a 40 burger against the Bucks a couple nights ago. Then the Lakers played Denver. We had Austin Reeves balling, Dalton Connect balling. Bronny got in. He wasn't the highest on the plus minus. It was Marcus Morris. I'm sorry. So, you see how I can just, tell you all these things right off the top of my head because these are the teams I'm watching. So, Shaq, hey, big fella, you got to do better, man. I'm getting some alert here. Let me check on this real quick, y'all. All right, notification. I don't got to worry about that now. But yeah, Shaq, you got to do better, man. You got to watch these teams, man. If you're not gonna watch these teams, don't say nothing, man. I don't get up here and I don't speak on situations I don't know about. When I'm putting together a show and I'm getting all I'm getting all my clips together and I'm what I'm gonna talk about and all this stuff. I'm doing research on these things if it's something I don't know enough about. So a lot. This is happening more and more where guys are just standing on the fact that they played in a sport or they played for a team or I made it to this league, and they use that as a trump card to try to say that they just have more knowledge. You have more personal experience. I'll give you that. But if you not watching the game at all, not watching the team at all, it could be fans that have more personal knowledge of that team than you, even though you played in the NBA. I don't think those two things are, mutually exclusive. So, that's the trump card that a lot of players go to. I think that is a lazy take. I think that's a lazy way to go because, when you get out here, you're going to speak on a subject, do the research, man, put in the work or skip the subject. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to do. Y'all don't hear me talking about stuff. If I don't have experience in something, y'all don't hear me running my mouth about it. So that's the first one. So we just going to drop Shaq in that bucket of entertainment. And I don't think it's anybody who can defend that wasn't analysis, that was entertainment. So Charles Barkley, he takes a lot of heat talking about, teams and who we should watch. So I was going to start with this clip, but we're going to go back and I'm going to go here. All right. So this is another time where they had the opportunity. Let me fix it up here. When I go from shorts to an actual clip, I need to fix that. So let me fix this here. Let me mute my mic.
Right. Where do you want to unpack first? You want to do this chronologically and look at the AD Luka thing that stunned everybody over the weekend?
Yeah, I'll go with the Dallas LA trade.
All right, so before they get into this, so what they're about to speak on, this is their reaction to Luka getting traded for AD. And, right away, I was on X and I was, commenting on, the situation and how Dallas got fleeced. I don't believe they got enough. They got one first-round pick. Even when the Lakers were going to do that trade for, what's his name, Mark? I don't think it's Mark Davis. The big man who failed his physical, or the Lakers failed his physical, we were giving up a first-round pick, a pick swap, Dalton Connect, and also Cam Reddish. So to me, they're actually getting more draft capital for a young big than they actually got for Luka Doncic. So I don't believe it was a good trade. I think it was a bad trade from the beginning. I called it a bad trade from the beginning, and we see this playing out as a bad trade. I'll say this. I'm even gonna say this before Shaq even gets this point. The Dallas Mavericks have had so many injuries this year that they might have to forfeit games because they can't suit up enough guys. So that tells you how their season's going.
Of course, it definitely shocked everybody. Dallas made the trade for the next 2 to 3 year window. I like AD on this team. A lot of good players around them. They have a possibility of at least going to the Western Conference Finals and winning the whole thing. My only concern is, this is no disrespect to Kyrie, but Kyrie flourishes when he's off the ball. Now, you make him the main guy. He has to make all decisions. He has to handle the ball more. History tells us that when he's the number 2 guy and off the ball, he definitely flourishes more. Now on the Lakers side, you know, this is more.
All right, let's pause it there. So he said that for the next 2 to 3 years, that this will be a better trade for the Dallas Mavericks. So if we just go based on what happened now, this is only a month ago. Dallas Mavericks season is in a tank. So AD got hurt in his first game playing. Kyrie, his minutes, he had an uptick in minutes, more wear and tear on his body. Jason Kidd is telling us that it was just a freak accident. It had nothing to do with, more wear and tear, him playing more minutes or anything like that. As they leaned on Kyrie more after the Luka trade, I'm going to take their word for it. I'm not going to argue back with that. But Kyrie getting injured at this time of year, ACL, next year he's not going to be back fully healthy. He's not going to be back fully healthy for you to be able to lean on him in the playoffs or anything like that next season. So I would say next year is shot 2. So that's 2 years out of the 2 to 3 year window that they said that this would be better for the Dallas Mavericks, going based on what Shaq said. So, I mean, just that quick. I called this thing right away. I just didn't see it good. I thought that the Dallas Mavericks were leaning on players who have missed significant amounts of times at different points of their careers. And I just think that if you are going to, lean on players that have missed time, you have to have a healthy dose of young players who can come in and, kind of take the load off of these older players. And it just seemed very clear and evident to me. So right there, we're going to say that this analysis is entertainment. I'm not going to say it's analysis. We're going to say this take is entertainment. Now let's see what he says about the Lakers.
About the future. Well, LeBron is 40 years old. At some point, he will not be there anymore. And the Lakers have always had a mega star on their roster. So, I think they're really, focusing on this guy. We don't know how they'll do this year.
Well, what do you feel his impact will be playing with LeBron, and now you get Mark Williams if he stays healthy playing in the middle. So what's the ceiling for the Lakers in the West?
The Lakers are playing well, and they're playing some really good ball. But it's not about what Luka and LeBron are going to do. The others will have to be dominant. And I'm talking about dominant all the time. And you know how much on the others. Reeves is going to have to play well. Hachimura is going to have to play well. And, if they can play well and, shoot the ball well, they definitely have a shot. I'm surprised that the Lakers are in 5th right now, but you get an explosive guy like Luka and LeBron, playing at the high rate offensively like they play. The others are definitely going to have to step up. Vince is going to have to play well, too. And I think if the others can play well, consistency, like, Kenny and them played for the Rockets like my Rick Fox and B. Shaw did when I was winning my championships, they have a shot.
Had to part with Dalton Connect in the.
I like Mark Williams.
The course.
That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Mark Williams when I couldn't come up with that trade. But you see, so they got unprotected 2031 potentially. This trade fell through, but they were potentially getting the 2031 unprotected first, and are also getting a 2030 first round pick swap. So that's why I was saying that the Hornets were getting more draft compensation for Mark Williams than the Dallas Mavericks actually got for Luka. So just seeing that situation, he said this Lakers trade is for the future. So again, we're going to have to put this in a category of entertainment. We see that the Lakers they were balling going into the trade. Coming out of the trade, they're playing pretty well. They made it up to the number 2 seed. LeBron's been down for a couple of games. I believe they lost 3 or 4 games in a row. Currently, they're the 5 seed, which it's not the end of the world. They don't really want to drop that much further below that. But you see that this is another situation where I mean, the analysis is not there. This is just entertainment. So I believe we're going to get Barkley speaking in this clip as well. So let's see if he's speaking.
So that deal.
Did you answer this question, man?
Yeah, I answered the question.
What did you say? You didn't say.
He said they're playing well right now. I'm saying what's the ceiling?
Yeah, I said what's the ceiling.
Well, I don't think they're a contender. First of all, the Mavs.
How you not a contender with Luka Doncic and DeMar like on the team?
Because they're not.
All right, so I sped that up a little bit for the second half of this video. So you see Kenny calls it out right away. Kenny said, "How you not a contender when you got Luka Doncic on the team?" And he after this he's going to say, "Man, he took Mavericks to the finals last year." So you see that right away. They saying they're not a contender.
They were, last year, Luka went. Gotta let you talk.
Well, I think Shaq does have a point. This is about the Mavs right now. I love Max Christie too. I think people sleeping on the Max Christie part. The Mavs gonna have a chance to win the championship.
Max Christie is definitely a stud player. He's definitely gonna get better. Definitely gonna keep producing as he gets more playing time. So that was a good call out by Charles.
This year, the Lakers don't have a chance to win the championship.
All right, so I stopped that real quick because he made a very definite statement. He said that the Dallas Mavericks had a chance to win the championship this year. I didn't believe that from the beginning. And then he said that the Lakers don't have a chance to win the championship this year. So I disagree with both sides of what he said. So let's keep listening.
This year, the Mavs do. OKC is the team to beat. I don't think the Lakers are better than the Mavs. I'm not sure they're better than Memphis. I'm not sure they're better than the Rockets. But this trade, in my opinion, we're all just conjecture.
So even after adding Luka, you don't think they're better than those teams?
I do not.
You still think they're 5 right now? They're gonna stay 5, or
They're gonna stay 5.
All right.
All right. So remember, this is from a month ago. So now that LeBron is injured, he's right. They are at 5. But me, I watched a lot of Lakers basketball this year. I watched a lot of Lakers basketball last year. There's another clip where he's going to talk about JJ Redick. It's insane. But in here, he's saying that the Lakers have no shot. The Lakers are not a contender. That means he's just not watching the Lakers. Lakers are a top 10 defensive team this year. Nobody talks about it because usually the easy knock is to say LeBron doesn't play defense. LeBron not having to initiate the offense like he was having to previously. He is a so much better off-ball defender, just roaming around, playing the back end. So defensive, they've been a way better team. They've given a lot more effort. So I don't agree with him right here where he's saying they're going to stay at 5. They made it up to 2. They beat Denver when they played them. Denver is basically at full strength, I believe. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. played. Let me check real quick because he might have played He might have played last night, but I'm not sure. I know he missed a couple games. Let me just check and see if he played last night. Let's go to scores. Today's Saturday, so that was Friday. And Lakers Nuggets. And then this was actually a way closer game because the game came down to, the very end of it. So let's see. Yeah, Porter Jr. is back. My bad. Okay. Yeah, Porter Jr. is back. Porter Jr. actually played 33 minutes. Okay, yeah, so he's back. My bad. I was wrong on that. I just want to make sure before I said it. So basically, the Denver Nuggets are looking like they're at full strength with everybody who is going to play for them. They got 9-man rotation. So, they're looking pretty full strength of who they're actually going to be playing in the playoffs. So, and that came down to a close game. And remember, Luka didn't play, LeBron didn't play, Hayes didn't play. So, they're kind of missing some guys. So, just to play Denver that well, I definitely think you have to look at them as a contender. Defensively, they have unlocked something that they did not have last year. They have another gear that they could take it to defensively that I just haven't seen with Darvin Ham. And then offensively, when you got 2 guys who can create so many shots and also score the ball between, LeBron and Luka, I think you really got to look at them as being a contender. So I disagree. I think they're better than Houston. I'll take them over Houston. I would take them over Memphis. Memphis is always right around that 2 seed every single year. They don't just, for some reason that I'm not seeing the progression that you would see from a team that wins that much in the regular season. So I wouldn't put them, I'll put the Lakers over Memphis. Then Oklahoma City, I think that's the team that could be got. Luka really torches them every time he plays them. So I wouldn't put Oklahoma City. I think it's one team that really could knock off the Lakers. Just based on all teams being healthy. And I think that's Denver. But I think the Lakers present different problems for Denver. So I just don't agree with what they're saying. And remember, this is from like a month or so ago. So, even just looking at what they said a month or so ago, they were wrong when they said it.
Because, number one, they're not going to be good defensively.
Oops.
And it's going to be a really hard adjustment for Luka Doncic, in my opinion. You know, because I've said I think they're going to have a hard time playing together because both of them are really ball dominant. LeBron can kind of get away.
So let me stop it right here real quick. This is one of those times where I say I don't believe that these guys are actually watching the game because, you know, as the time as he was saying this, the Lakers were surging defensively. And remember, prior to the trade, AD was hurt. So they were on this turning a corner defensively without AD. So, you know, they were already turning that corner. So this is where I think these guys just aren't. They can't be watching the games because if they were, some of the things that he's saying, he wouldn't be saying. So I think that's just a miss right there. Let's get back to it.
With that, Luka's never played without the ball. Get away with that. Luka's never played without the ball. He's going to have the ball probably less than he's ever had in his life.
That's another thing that's not right. As soon as Luka got there, JJ said the offense is going to go through Luka, and LeBron is going to be the one who actually plays off ball. LeBron is a lot better off ball. He's more comfortable off ball at different times throughout his career. You know, I can go back, not the first stint in Cleveland playing off ball, but once he went to Miami, he had to play off ball, playing with a ball dominant guard in D Wade. He thrived in that role. That's when he played his best defense, I would say, in his career when he was in Miami because he was off ball. He went back to Cleveland. He handled the ball a lot in that first year when we made it to the finals when Kyrie and K-Love got hurt. But then as, you know, that time went on, that second stint in Cleveland, he played a little bit more off ball. And, you know, he really carried some teams who shouldn't have made it to the finals. So this is one of those things where it's just like, you know, if I can recall these things off the top of my head, you know, yes, they're Hall of Famers, but, you know, how are they missing these things that are just kind of obvious that everybody else sees, you know, and is backed up with, you know, data stats and statistics. You know, it's not just me saying these things. You know, that's when LeBron was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, where I think he got snubbed when Marc Gasol won Defensive Player of the Year and he wasn't even on first team all defense. You know, so I don't think they're watching these games. I think that's the only justification for it because some of the things they say are just 100% wrong. Luka has not been off ball. Once Luka got a rhythm of back playing, because remember, Luka was also injured when the trade happened. Now that he's back in a rhythm, he's playing a lot better. So I just don't see what they see.
Like I say, LeBron is so great. He can make the adjustments. But Luka's going number one. We've said he's going to learn to play faster because they're not going to play like LeBron and those guys are not going to do like he did against the Mavericks. He gets the ball 100% of the time. You know, he's going to have to learn to play the wing some. But listen, you just can't put great players together and think it's going to work.
Well, I think first from a Dallas standpoint, I don't think you trade a guy like Luka Doncic if he's unhappy. You try to make him happy. I think you trade him when you're unhappy. And so there was something about the management that probably they were unhappy with that made this happen. Now, when you get AD, you know, you also.
Kenny, just spot on right there, man. That's what I'm saying. You know, look at Myles Garrett. We had a long segment talking about Myles Garrett. And, you know, you don't trade him when he's unhappy. You trade him when you're unhappy. And, you know, that's what it is. That's when you trade a star player. You know, it's not that many guys who came into the league who just had the accolades and accomplishment that Luka has since he's been into the league. So, you know, you just don't give up on that type of player. That shows just, you know, a level of dysfunction inside the organization. And, you know, you see right away that this was a bad trade for Dallas. So shout out to Kenny. He's kind of the only one that's paying attention, it seems like.
Secure. I agree with Shaq. You are secure for the next 2-3 years. It's a parallel move. It could be a positive move with AD. There's nothing.
So that's where I don't agree with them. I just don't see it because, you know, if you remember, if they would have been watching the Mavericks, you know, right when this trade took place, Dallas was already down their bigs. They were already down 2 of their 3 big men. And one of the things that AD thrives in, he feels like he plays better when he's at the 4 and not the 5. So if you would have just know that, you know, they were down 2 of their 3 5-man, their 2 of the 3 bigs, you would have know that this is not AD just rolling into a situation where he's going to be able to play the position that he's saying he wants to play all the time. So, you know, I think they kind of missed it there.
No drop off because AD is averaging over 26, 27 points a game defensively. He impacts the game differently than Luka, of course, but he can impact the game at a higher level at the 4. When you got guys who's going to have to, so if you play the Lakers and you're the Dallas Mavericks, LeBron James is going to have to possibly guard Anthony Davis when Lively and Stafford are there. That's not going to happen and not going to be good for anyone. Aaron Gordon is going to have to guard him and not Jokic. So there's a lot of difference in the advantages for Dallas. But Luka Doncic is a generational talent. anytime he's on the floor, your team is going to be thought of as they can win a 7-game series because he can put together 5 games, not 2, not 3. He can put together 5 games that are astronomical in a series. So I think they both gotten better. But in the short term, Dallas is the best, I think.
There's nothing better than a game. A great tasting milk.
All right, that's that last clip. I was just checking on some things, making sure I was still live. On my end, I don't agree. I agree with, about 40% of what Kenny said. Just them saying that Dallas was going to be better. I just don't think they looked at Dallas's roster. I don't think they looked at, how so many Dallas players were injured. So I just don't think that they were just looking at this very informed. The things that he said about Luka, I totally agree with. There's that. 50% of what Kenny said, I guess we can say it's analysis. And then the other part was entertainment. All of them kind of just kept agreeing that Dallas basically won the trade in the short term. And I just never agree with that. I never agree with that. If Dallas won the trade in the short term, they should have easily got 3 first-round picks. I mean, do we got to go back and pull up the Rudy Gobert trade and all the first-round picks that, the Utah Jazz got for Rudy Gobert? So it's like, come on, man. Like, we got to stop. They ran with a narrative about the Dallas thing. They are on one accord with it, and they were all wrong with it. All right, let's get to the next one. This is fair use for everything that I'm showing. This is, I believe, let's see. Which one do we want to show next? All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to show this one. This is Charles Barkley believing that J.J. Redick was going to be in the same position as Darvin Ham. Nothing was going to be different. And he even made up some funny things that he said. So let's see.
Julius Randle stepping back and knocking down a 3. Yeah, there were a lot of 3s shot tonight. Yes, nearly 100.
I want to say this why. So they're going to be showing this game, but then also Ernie is going to try to keep talking about this game. And basically Charles is just going to be going in. So just a warning.
Combined between the two teams.
103s. That's right. Yeah, no, Ernie. You know what it is? It's Chuck's fault.
Why?
Well, because some idiot named Jason Monroe said something about that. Now, I heard J.J. Redick said something about me. J.J., you better calm down, because when you come for the king, you better not miss.
Did he name you specific?
So you hear that? So he said J.J. Redick said something about him. He said, you come for the king, you better not miss. The funny thing was they asked J.J. Redick about Charles Barkley, and he just was like, I don't care. He just kind of laughed it off. So the funny thing is that, now Shaq is about to, not Shaq, Charles is about to go and listen to what he says.
Was he just talking about folks on TV?
He said something about we're the reason people ain't watching this crappy product we got. That's JJ. Yeah, us, like we out there jacking up 103s a night. JJ, I don't know Jason Monroe. I don't know who that is, but JJ, if you come for the king, you better not miss. Because I can get you, brother, because I got your Lakers games. You can't hide them flaws they got. You just a dead man walking. They got rid of Frank Vogel, who did a good job. They got rid of Darvin Ham, who did a good job. If you came out there thinking you were going to change things with that same ugly girl you went on a date with.
64.
All right, so you see, he just defended Frank Vogel. The funny thing is, Frank Vogel got fired from the Lakers. Then he went to Phoenix, and they had the same problems where Phoenix did not have a designed offense. And then Frank Vogel got fired from Phoenix. Now, this is from 2 months ago. This is after Frank Vogel has been fired 2 times. And basically, he's just saying it's the Lakers. Then he said Darvin Ham did a good job. It's no way he was watching the Lakers games with Darvin Ham. They rarely made in-game adjustments, plays out of bounds. They weren't that good. Towards the end of games, they just didn't have the execution, no creativity on offense. Those are the 2 biggest issues that Frank Vogel had as a coach, and also Darvin Ham as a coach. They are now offensive coaches, and it showed. And teams took advantage of the fact that they did not get creative on offense. So I don't know what he's talking about. Sometimes you have, these guys, they cape for these coaches, these retread NBA coaches who don't really have the accolades there versus the younger guys. And I remember I'm going to do something because I'm going to do this before the playoffs start. I'm going to try to get it done. I'm just going to do an episode on how everybody gave their predictions on how they thought JJ was going to do. And they thought it was buddy. And they thought that he was only there because he did podcasts with LeBron and that he wasn't going to do good as a coach. And if you notice, nobody's talking about JJ Redick as a coach. And it's a problem. And this is what happens with the media where they're more entertainment, not analysis. So they never go back and correct when their analysis is wrong, because if their analysis was wrong, they would say, hey, I was wrong about that. No, but they're cocky and they double down on things when they're wrong. He's saying, oh, you better not come at the King because we're going to be covering the West Coast games. Okay, you covering the West Coast games. A month ago, you were saying that the Lakers didn't have good defense. You were saying that, the Lakers only been good for, that's the next video. But you're not watching the games because you would know that this team looks nothing like it looked when it was JJ Redick. One thing was that Darvin Ham, he forced Cam Reddish and Jared Vanderbilt on the court at the same time. And the offense, basically, you just played off of those two guys because if you remember, before Vanderbilt got hurt, he would not even take the corner spot up threes. He would just pass off. He wouldn't even attempt to take it. And Cam Reddish, he wasn't really taking the corner threes. That's why if you remember early in the season, LeBron was throwing Cam Reddish the ball and got him the opportunity for a game-winner shot to try to build up his confidence. So these guys, it's no way that they're actually watching these games and know what happens, because if you have a team where you have two guys who are timid and they don't want to shoot the ball, all I have to do is crash the paint. And that's what teams did. And that's why the Lakers, their offense was so hard. It was so hard for them to produce offense. Then what else happened with Darvin Ham? The D-Lo, he basically was killing D-Lo's confidence, not giving him a clear role. He was starting him, then he was benching him. Then Austin Reeves, he was, starting Austin Reeves, then he benched him, and then he had to bring him back into the starting lineup. He did the same thing with Rui Hachimura. So his decision-making on how he was running his starters, he was killing guys' confidence. He wasn't giving them clear, defined roles. And one thing that's very clear with how JJ Redick is coaching his team this year, the Lakers, they have clear, defined roles. If you look at the Cavs and you look at Kenny Atchison, his players have clear, defined roles. They're thriving in their roles. The Cavs haven't lost since they made the trade for DeAndre Hunter. And it's because they have clear, defined roles on what their expectations are and what the coach needs from them. If you look at when the Cavs had JB Bickerstaff, he's better for an up-and-coming team. He's not good for a team that's ready to go because just the adjustments aren't there. And, we needed three-point shooters a couple years ago when we got beat by New York. I want to say we got beat by New York in the first round. We needed to stretch the floor. That's when we got rid of Kevin Love because we didn't make a role for him. And then in that whole series, we couldn't stretch the floor. They just trapped the paint or stayed in the paint. And then that caused us our offense to be stagnant. And it's just like, some of these things happen. And it's like, all right, what are y'all watching? What are you watching? So I just don't understand. But we're going to let him finish on his rant. I went on a rant of my own. Let's get back to his rant.
51 was your halftime score. As we get back to the highlights, and Rudy Gobert.
So he came in there thinking, I can make this thing work. Hell, you can.
77, 71.
Put some makeup on that pig.
Man, the Lakers are pigs.
The Lakers stink, man.
Oh, man, okay.
Come on, man.
Tatum, by the way, has 38.
Put some makeup. What'd you say? Put some makeup on that.
You hear that? He said a 19 and 14. He said the Lakers stink. The problem was, ever since he said this, the Lakers went on a run, made it all the way up to the second seed. So he said they were 19 and 14. Right now, I believe the Lakers have 21 or 22 losses. And they're, I think, 39 and 21 or something like that. So, they went on a crazy, insane run. Just off.
I'm JJ Redick. I can make this thing work. Please.
You hear that? He's mocking JJ Redick a lot. I'm JJ Redick. I can make this thing work. We get the gist of this. I think JJ Redick is actually at the end of this. No, he's not at the end of that. I had so many clips for them, you guys. There's so many times where they just, all right, so we want to show this one, this rant. This is another rant by him, by Charles Barkley.
I saw a fool idiot on TV talking about the Lakers save the NBA.
Save the NBA.
Yeah. He's an idiot and a fool, but he know who he is. What's his name, Shaq?
Which one you talking about? There's a lot of
Kendrick
fools out
Perkins.
there. Oh.
He said the Lakers, first of all, the Lakers have had a great 2 weeks. He said.
So this is from 8 days ago. So this is what happens when, these guys are entertainment and they're just not watching the games, man. It's no other way I can really put it. And I think that's kind of that's even the nicest way that I can put it, by saying that they're not watching the games, because this 8 days ago, and he's going to go on this rant and he's going to say that, the Lakers had a great 2 weeks and, let's see. All right, so the Lakers are 40-25. And I think, all right, so this is from 8 days ago. 8 days ago would have been, what's today's date? All right, that would have been the 7th. Okay, so 8 days ago, the Lakers were 40-21. 40-21. Y'all heard that right. 8 days ago, when he said this, the Lakers were 40-21, and he said the Lakers had a good 2 weeks. So we're just going to go back 14 days from that time when he said this. All right, so we got the 6th, 22nd. So they were on a streak when he said that. They were on a winning streak when he said that. But prior to him saying that, if you go all the way back to actually the New Year, so I'm going to count these games out real quick so we can just show how basically him saying it had a good 2 weeks, which it didn't make sense. So starting January 1st, let's count out the losses. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so when he said this, the Lakers had 7 losses. What did I say the date was? You got to count these wins out. All right, so here. So when he said this here, the Lakers in their last 29 games, they were 22-7. So this is what I mean when I say, like, this is entertainment, and I'm trying to be respectful. I'm trying not to say they're blowing the air, but you see it. You see it when you just look at these things. I know they're used to a time where, we just didn't have access to the internet and we couldn't see these things as fast as we do. But you just look at this and you see that, this is just not true. It's just far from the truth. So let's see a little bit more of what he says so we can get this thing wrapped up.
The Lakers saved the NBA season. That's because them fools on the other network, which we're going to be working for next year, that's all they talk about. Let me tell y'all something.
Tell me something.
And first of all, I want all the smoke. I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard or anything like that.
I don't whistle when I walk by the graveyard.
Right.
I like that.
Hey, man,
I'm stealing that one.
The Lakers are doing great. Got a long way to go. But the reason the season's been going great for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all just want to talk about the Warriors and the Lakers. They're both doing great. Don't get me wrong. If I turn out to be wrong, I got no problem with that. But y'all are idiots because y'all talk about the Lakers and the Warriors all the time. Y'all don't. The Cleveland Cavaliers have won 12 straight games. The Oklahoma City got the MVP, and they are on fire. Y'all are talking about who's in second place. That's the reason I get pissed. Hey, the Lakers are doing great. I don't mind being wrong. The Warriors are doing great. But that's because you fools on other networks, which we're going to become fools next year. We've been working on that network. But Oklahoma City and the Cavs been balling for 6 months. Y'all talking about teams that had two great weeks.
Time out. I get what you're saying. You went at the whole network.
They talk about the same
whole
stuff.
industry.
Whole industry. They talk about the same stuff every single day.
I would have to, but there's
Is there some credit? Is there some credit to be handed out here?
Yes. But don't say basketball's only watching now. First of all, between that and this lame-ass LeBron-Michael Jordan debate, which is lame. I've said for years, the only people talk about LeBron and Michael is people on television who got no talent to talk about anything else. I've been saying that for years. I ain't hanging on to the 90s. I've always said LeBron's great, Michael's great. But y'all talk about it all the time and then got LeBron out there posing, talking about he all mad about being the face of the league. But it makes me mad. The Oklahoma City and the Cleveland Cavaliers are the two best stories in the NBA this year. Congratulations to the Lakers and the Warriors. They've had 2 good weeks. The Cavs and OKC have had.
All right, so I'm a Cavs fan, and the Cavs definitely don't get the love that they are actually looking for. But this was from 8 days ago. They were calling the Cavs. The Cavs were saying Darius Garland said the Cavs don't get the love that they should get prior to the All-Star game, and nobody was talking about them. So it's like, I mean, it's easy to call out somebody else and say they're not talking about them, but as much as I see clips and stuff, from inside the NBA, or the NBA on TNT, my bad, I don't hear them talking about the Cavs that often. I only hear them use, OKC even last year, they only use that when it's a team that they don't want to talk about. But big market teams, if you look at just the highest levels of the NBA when it's thriving, it's at its highest point, big market teams are good. You look in the 80s. I mean, yeah, you had the upstart Bulls. The Bulls were coming up in the 80s, but you had the Detroit Pistons, you had the Bad Boys, but you had the Boston Celtics, you had the Lakers, you had Philly. These are big market teams. You look in the 90s, of course you had the Bulls became a market on their own because, they had Michael Jordan in those teams, Phil Jackson, coaching and everything. So, they became a big market on their own, but the Knicks were good in the 90s. Boston, I would say theirs was more in the 2000s. But the Heat were good in the 90s. You had Portland was good. I don't see them as a big market team. The 90s for the Lakers, not as good. Once everything happened with Magic, that was the early 90s. They went on a little dry spell till they got Kobe and Shaq. So, it's just the NBA is better when big market teams are good. You go into the, the 2000s, it's just big market teams. So, you gotta, you really gotta just look at, how you talk about it, because you do have the opportunity to talk about these teams. I mean, but, look at Boston, look at the Knicks, the Lakers, look at these big market teams. It's just, OKC's a really good team, but I just was reading an article about how, OKC is under investigation because they set their whole starters and they set all 5 starters. They only listed 1 on the injury report prior to. They set all 5 starters and they still beat Portland. Nobody even talked about that because that's one of those situations where the NBA investigated them. Nobody even talked about it because nobody is really talking about, these small market teams. And I understand this because I've been a fan of a small market team my whole life. The Cavs, we had some, great years with LeBron where, we got to shine and stuff. But, if you look at our top years, excuse me, people discredited the Cavs when LeBron was there on the second stint going to the finals 4 years in a row because they just chalked it up and said the East was weak, because they want to, just take the credit away from those Atlanta Hawks teams who are really good. They're winning 60 games, having 3 and 4 All-Stars, those Toronto Raptor teams that are really good, so it's just, they want to build a narrative and say, teams weren't good, but it's like, people only talk about Cleveland to diss other teams. People only talk about OKC to diss other teams. Since this is aired, how many segments have they done talking about the Cavs? So it's like, I didn't want to say this, but this is when they're just blowing air. You're blowing air because the Cavs been good all year. The Cavs, they're on a 16-game win streak right now. They have multiple 10-plus game win streaks this year. So you can talk about them, but just don't use them as a reason, kind of use them as bait when you just want to throw them in the middle of, your argument because you don't want to talk about the Lakers. And this is, him just doubling down on being incorrect about what he said about the Lakers. And it's like, if y'all don't notice, I have like a main theme that I have to the show, but then I have an underlying theme. So I'm going to tell you the underlying theme for today. Underlying theme for today is that you have to be able to take your L. And I put that in the first quarter, and Nick Wright actually said that about guys in the media. They have to be able to take their L. And I didn't mention it again after that until we talked about the high school track star, but you got to be able to take your L. Charles Barkley calling certain things out. You got to be able to take your L. You don't take that L then, you out here looking crazy. And that's what it is. JJ Redick, you're not going to be able to turn this thing around, and then look what happens. He turns it around. Actually, I was going to get up out of here, but when I put together, I got an old clip for y'all right here. When I put together, my clips about the media. All right, we're going to wait for this ad to go. But I just want y'all to hear this.
You can just drop it off at one of their... But listen, I will listen to what you have to say because what you've been saying over the last couple of years is proven once again
I can't even make this. Hold on.
LeBron James will...
I can't even make this more clear. This was a time where, the highest quality for this clip is in 240p. Yes, you see that correct. 240p. So I can't make this clip no clearer. But this is Jay Crawford, who is actually on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show right now. This is Skip Bayless, and this is Rob Parker. I would call all three of these guys dinosaurs to the current sports media because they're kind of extinct. Rob Parker, basically, he's on the radio for Fox Sports. Jay Crawford is doing local with UCSS, and Skip Bayless is, he's on YouTube with his own show. So,
but listen, I will listen to what you have to say because what you've been saying over the last couple of years is proven once again to be true. LeBron James will not play for an NBA title this year. Whether or not he will in the future, we don't know. But let's get to our list. He almost had a quadruple double, which isn't a good thing because the turnovers were there.
All right, so y'all hear that. So I just wanted to give y'all that little short clip of me. I was just going in of like how these guys just can't take their L's. So back in this time, this was prior to LeBron winning his first championship. So he didn't win his first championship until he went to Miami in 2011 when he won. They lost in, let me get my years right. They lost in 2011 to Dallas. They won the first one in the 11-12 season versus Oklahoma City Thunder. So in this clip, Rob Parker and Skip Bayless are saying LeBron is never going to win the championship. And this is after he lost to the Boston Celtics. Now that Boston team, what people forget is, everybody wants to coin it and say LeBron is the creator of the super team. But what they fail to realize is they put together Paul Pierce in his prime, Ray Allen in his prime, Kevin Garnett in his prime. And that's who, the Cavs are going up against. So this is how they talked about LeBron. This is how the media talks so crazy about LeBron. And if you notice, Rob Parker still takes shots at LeBron, and Skip Bayless still only says LeBron is the greatest passer of all time. He's very hard pressed to give him any other credit for anything else that he does. So, that's just a throwback to how long they've been hating on LeBron. But this has been another episode, This has been another episode. It's been a great show. Thank you all for sticking in with me for a couple of hours on your Saturday night going over some takes. You see the underlying theme. You got to learn how to take that L so you can bounce back and do better. I'm going to try to get this thing clipped up because at some point my YouTube stream did come down. So I'm going to try to get this thing clipped up so we can put, some of the clips on YouTube. So follow me off the record with D. Remember, THA, not THE, off the record. And I'm most active on X talking about sports when I'm not live. So definitely check me out over there. Let me pop this up on the screen for y'all. Let's see. My Chrome tab back. Let's see. Let's unlock this and let's get this out here. Whoa. Let's go this way. All right, we can't get this thing fixed, but y'all know, follow me on X, off the record D, same logo as you see on the hat, same logo as you see here on the thumbnail. So definitely check me out, off the record D, on all platforms. I'm going to make this a weekly weekend sports show. All the sports shows, they usually go Monday through Friday. So we're going to hit the most talked about topics, and we're going to hit them on a Saturday night so you can still get that sports fix. The Browns will always be a subject. Going into the end of the year, the Cavs, we're going to start to make a Cavs and the Browns quarter. So definitely just tap in every Saturday night. I appreciate y'all. Peace.